Good morning students. I hope you are all doing good. Let us see what we are going to discuss in today's class.
Good morning students. In previous class we have seen nitric acid preparations. Now we are in compounds of nitrogen. First compound dinitrogen we have seen. After that ammonia, and this is last compound of nitrogen we are going to see. Preparations completed in previous class. This is happened in small scale in the laboratory. Nitric acid is prepared by heating KNO3 or NaNO3 and concentrated H2SO4 in a glass retort. On a large scale, it is prepared mainly by Ostwald's process. This method is based upon catalytic oxidation of ammonia by atmospheric oxygen. After this, NO gas is reacted with oxygen to form NO2. NO2 is dissolved in water to form HNO3. Okay, this is undergoing dehydration by using dehydrating agent H2SO4 to form almost 98% concentrated nitric acid. Is it okay, ma? Next we are going to see properties. This is the structure of HNO3. It is a colorless liquid. HNO3 is a colorless liquid. Freezing point 231.4 Kelvin and boiling point 355.6 Kelvin. Laboratory grade nitric acid contains approximately 68% of the HNO3 by mass, meaning 68% HNO3 and remaining 32% water. 68% HNO3 and remaining 32% water by mass, and has a specific gravity of 1.504. Specific gravity means it is related to density, ma. Okay, when specific gravity is high, density is also high, and has a specific gravity of 1.504. Next, in the gaseous state, HNO3 exists as a planar molecule with the structure as shown. Planar means all the atoms of HNO3 are present in the plane only. That is called planar molecule. All the atoms of nitrogen, oxygen, HNO3, nitrogen, 2 oxygens, 3 oxygens, H, all are present in the plane only. Like this, it is present in the plane. It is not a three-dimensional molecule. In the gaseous state, HNO3 exists as a planar molecule with the structure as shown. In aqueous solution, nitric acid behaves as a strong acid, giving hydronium ion and nitrate ions. HNO3 gives rise to H++ NO3-. This H+ is not stable. Immediately it will react with water to form H3O+, which is called hydronium ion. Sir, from where we got this water? That is the property of acid, man. When a substance is added to water, then only it is behaving as an acid. Remember, HNO3, pure HNO3, if you take, it is not acid. HNO3, when it is added to water, then it will donate H+ ions. Then only it is called acid. HNO3, when it is added to water, it will donate H+ ions. These H+ ions react with water molecules to form H3O+, which is called hydronium ion. Okay, see. In aqueous solution, means when nitric acid is added to water, nitric acid behaves as a strong acid. That only I told. In water only, any substance will be behaving as an acid. Pure HCl, if you take in gaseous state, HCl, that is called hydrogen chloride. It is not an acid. When that HCl is dissolved in water, then only it is called hydrochloric acid. When HCl is dissolved in water, then only it is called hydrochloric acid. HCl has high solubility in water. Like that here also, HNO3 it is dissolved in water, then only it will donate H+ ions. Okay, see. HNO3 aqueous plus water liquid gives rise to H3O plus aqueous plus NO3 minus. This H2O and H plus ions reacted to form H3O plus NO3 minus nitrate ions. Concentrated nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent and attacks most metals except noble metals such as gold and platinum. Why gold and platinum are called noble metals? Because gold and platinum are very less reactive. Very less reactive elements are also like noble metals. These are not completely non-reactive. These are not completely non-reactive. They are also reactive, but very less reactive. Very less reactive substances are called noble, NOBLE. Non-reactive are called inert. Very less reactive are called noble. These are all metals, na? That's why these are called noble metals. Non-reactive, they will not react with others. Those are called inert. Those are only inert gases. Okay, see. Concentrated nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent and attacks most metals except noble metals such as gold and platinum. Okay, ma'am. Next. The products of oxidation depend upon the concentration of the acid, temperature, and the nature of the material undergoing oxidation. So, different categories are there. Here, HNO3 dilute with copper, it will form one type of product. HNO3 concentrated with respect to copper, it will form one type of product. Like that, depending on concentration of the acid, temperature, and nature of the material undergoing oxidation, the products are going to be varied. Is it okay, ma? Now see here, copper reacts with 8HNO3. This is dilute. Copper reacts with dilute HNO3. Dilute HNO3 in solutions, already we told that dilute solutions contain more solvent, less solute. Here, this dilute HNO3 contains more amount of water and less amount of HNO3. Copper reacts with dilute HNO3 to form CuNO3 twice plus nitric oxide NO plus H2O. Copper reacts with concentrated HNO3 to form CuNO3 twice, copper nitrate only, plus NO2 plus H2O. These reactions are very important. Reaction of HNO3 with copper is very important. Reaction of HNO3 with copper is very important, ma. See, all of you. Copper reacts with dilute HNO3. This is 8, ma. Copper reacts with the dilute HNO3 to form nitric oxide. Copper reacts with concentrated HNO3. To liberate nitrogen dioxide gas. This name is nitrogen dioxide. Next, zinc reacts with dilute HNO3. Zinc reacts with dilute HNO3 to form, every time maximum metallic nitrate only it is going to be formed. every time, see, metallic nitrate only it is going to be formed, plus 5H2O plus N2O, nitrous oxide. N2O is called nitrous oxide. This nitrogen, oxides of nitrogen are only getting differed, which are going to be liberated. Here NO is liberated, here NO2 is liberated, here N2O is liberated. These are only getting differed. Water, this nitrates, all are same only, but these are only you have to remember carefully. Okay, next. Zinc reacts with concentrated HNO3. To form zinc nitrate plus water plus NO2, nitrogen dioxide. So with concentrated HNO3, both copper and zinc are going to evolve NO2 gas. Observe, with concentrated HNO3, both copper and zinc are going to evolve nitrogen dioxide gas. With dilute HNO3, copper is going to release nitric oxide. With dilute HNO3, zinc is going to liberate nitrous oxide. Those are only differed. So these reactions, among these reactions also, this copper reacts with HNO3 is very important. For 1 mark or 2 marks they will ask. There is a chance to ask. Okay, ma? Remaining normal only. Remaining reactions normally you will study. I hope you are clear about this one. With the dilute HNO3, copper will give NO. With the dilute HNO3, zinc will give N2O. Remaining are nitrate of copper, nitrate of zinc, water is same only. Everywhere we are getting nitrate of copper and nitrate of zinc. Those are okay. We need to remember mainly concentrate on these oxides. What are they going to release? With concentrated HNO3, both copper and zinc they are going to release nitrogen dioxide only, NO2. Is it okay, ma? Okay. This is about reaction of HNO3 with metals. Next, metals. Some metals, example chromium, aluminium, do not dissolve in concentrated nitric acid, meaning they won't react with concentrated nitric acid. Example chromium, aluminium, etc. Because of the formation of a passive film of oxide on the surface. Passive means non-reactive. Passive means non-reactive oxide layer on the metal. Aluminium means aluminium oxide, it is formed like a protective layer. Chromium means chromium oxide formed like a protective layer. That protective layer is not allowing inside copper or chromium or aluminium to react with HNO3. Some metals, chromium, aluminium, do not dissolve in concentrated nitric acid because of the formation of a passive film of oxide on the surface. Okay, aluminium, if you take on that aluminium, a layer of Al2O3 is going to be formed. This is aluminium block. If you take, total surface is getting oxidized in the presence of oxygen to form Al2O3. Only surface, inside aluminium only it is present. Because of this oxide is very less reactive, when this aluminium is kept in nitric acid also, this oxide is in contact with nitric acid, so this aluminum is inside aluminium is not able to be reacted with nitric acid because it is protected by a protective layer Al2O3. It is passive, means it won't undergo reaction easily. That's why only this aluminium, chromium, they won't undergo dissolution in nitric acid. That is the meaning. Okay. Concentrated nitric acid also oxidizes non-metals. So HNO3 not only oxidizes metals, it will oxidize non-metals also and their compounds. Iodine is oxidized to iodic acid. Carbon is oxidized to carbon dioxide. Iodine is oxidized to iodic acid. Carbon is oxidized to carbon dioxide. Sulfur is oxidized to H2SO4 and phosphorus is oxidized to phosphoric acid. Like this, non-metals are getting oxidized to their corresponding acids. Okay, iodine to iodic acid, carbon to carbon dioxide, sulfur to H2SO4 and phosphorus to phosphoric acid. See, I2 plus 10HNO3 gives rise to HiO3 plus NO2 plus H2O. Everywhere NO2 and H2O are common only. See, NO2 and H2O. Second reaction also NO2 and H2O. Third reaction NO2 and H2O. Fourth reaction also NO2 and H2O. Everywhere this NO2 and H2O are common byproducts. Only this main product is going to be changed. HiO3 when HNO3 reacts with I2. HNO3 reacts with carbon to form carbon dioxide. HNO3 reacts with carbon to form carbon dioxide. HNO3 reacts with sulfur to form H2SO4. HNO3 reacts with phosphorus to form phosphoric acid. Is it okay, ma? See, once I2 plus 10HNO3 gives rise to iodic acid. 2HIO3 plus 10NO2 plus 4H2O. C plus 4HNO3 gives rise to CO2 plus 2H2O plus 4NO2. S8 plus 48HNO3 gives rise to 8H2SO4 plus 48NO2 plus 16H2O. P4 plus 20HNO3 gives rise to 4H3PO4 plus 20NO2 plus 4H2O. You need to observe one thing, that is everywhere the byproducts are same only, NO2 and H2O, NO2 and H2O. And one more suggestion for you, you are going to write MCQs only, not a descriptive part. So these balancing of the equations also very important for you. In what way they are going to ask the questions, we cannot expect. Is it okay, ma? Descriptive part, at least these questions are important, like the previous year questions we can see and we can understand. But this is only first time for you. They are going to conduct complete MCQs for term 1. So to prosper in that, we need to practice in a way that our mindset must be prepared to go through only MCQs, not in the form of subjective descriptive part. Okay, these derivation parts, all those things will not be. But main thing, you have to understand the concept. Is it clear, ma? And these type of equations, no other alternative is there. You need to practice and you need to remember, and you have to find some tricks to remember them easily. See, suppose example, these 4 reactions are there. I am telling that in these 4 reactions, common byproducts are NO2 and H2O only. So these are only getting differed. So remembering of these are somewhat easy when compared to complete equations. Is it correct? HiO3, CO2, H2SO4, H3PO4. After completion of this chapter, your duty is this type of equations, how many are there in the total chapter? This type of equations, how many are there in the total chapter? Let us make a list and topic wise how we are going to remember and how we have to apply them. Like that we have to see one more time. Is it okay, ma? First let us see what is happening in this chapter, P block elements. I hope you are clear. So these reactions are with metals, ma. Nitric acid reacts with metal, dilute nitric acid reacts with copper, concentrated nitric acid reacts with copper. These are all reaction with non-metals. Nitric acid reacts with iodine, nitric acid reacts with carbon, nitric acid reacts with sulfur, nitric acid reacts with phosphorus. These are all non-metals. With non-metals, all remaining byproducts are same only, but these are only main products are getting differed. These are also corresponding acids only. Iodine will form iodic acid, sulfur will form sulfuric acid, phosphorus will form phosphoric acid. Carbon alone, it is forming acetic oxide, that is carbon dioxide. Like that we have to make our attempt easy, ma. Is it clear? Now we are going through next one, Brown ring test. Brown ring test is very important. See here, the familiar Brown ring test for nitrates. This is the test for nitrate, NO3 minus. Depends on the ability of Fe plus to reduce nitrates to nitric oxide. To reduce nitrates to nitric oxide. See, this is also like reaction with metal only. Previously HNO3 reacts with copper and zinc to form nitric oxide NO2, like that, na? Here also the familiar Brown ring test for nitrates depends on the ability of Fe plus to reduce nitrates to nitric oxide, which reacts with Fe plus to form a brown colored complex, which is going to react, this nitric oxide which is formed, it will undergo reaction with Fe plus to form a brown colored complex. The test is usually carried out by adding dilute ferrous sulfate solution. This dilute ferrous sulfate solution contains Fe plus 2 ions to an aqueous solution containing nitrate ion, and then carefully adding concentrated sulfuric acid along the sides of the test tube. A brown ring at the interface between the solution and sulfuric acid layers indicates the presence of a nitrate ion in solution. First see the reaction, ma. After that I will explain how to do the procedure. Okay, see, brown ring test, NO3 minus ions. If the given solution contains NO3 minus ions, it is going to react with ferrous ions Fe plus 2 in presence of H plus ions. These H plus ions are provided from H2SO4. And one more thing, this is not test for nitric acid, ma. This brown ring test is not for nitric acid. Any aqueous solution which contains NO3 minus ions. Any aqueous solution which contains NO3 minus will show brown ring test. Is it okay? Now NO3 minus ions reacted with 3Fe plus 2 plus 2H plus. These H plus ions are obtained from sulfuric acid, gives rise to NO, nitric oxide, plus 3Fe plus 3 plus 2H2O. This NO is going to react with aqueous iron in the form of plus 2 ion, like a coordination compound, ma. It is like a coordination compound. FeH2O6 plus 2 plus NO gives rise to FeH2O5 NO plus 2 plus H2O. This NO is going to replace one of the water molecules this NO is going to replace one of the water molecules to form FeH2O5 NO plus 2 plus H2O. This is called brown ring. Brown color ma. It is in brown color. After this one, I will send one video related to that brown ring test also. Okay. Before that, how we are going to perform this experiment? Let us see now. These are the reactions happening, ma. Now see. In 12th class, you are going to perform practicals, ma. In that practicals, one of the experiment you are going to do, that means one of the practical you are going to do, that is salt analysis. Salt analysis contain cation and anion. Cations Pb plus 2, Cu plus 2. Okay, like that different metallic ions are there which are cations. Na plus, Mg plus 2, like the different metal ions are there which are coming with cation, coming under cation. Coming with anion, CO3 minus 2, Cl minus, NO3 minus, like the different are there in anions also. SO4 minus 2. Is it okay, ma? In that, this nitrate ion is there, na? For this brown ring test is the confirmatory test. Confirmatory test means by doing this brown ring test, we can confirm the presence of NO3 minus. Okay, in laboratory what they will do? They will give one salt to you. That salt contains one cation and one anion. Is it okay? First we have to confirm what is the cation, and after that we have to confirm what is the anion. In that, if you have doubt with NO3 minus as anion, we will perform the confirmatory test, brown ring test. Is it okay? By preliminary tests, you will get idea NO3 minus is present in our compound, in our salt. That is only doubt, ma. By doing this brown ring test, you will confirm that NO3 minus is present in our given compound, given salt. For that, what we will do? The salt is dissolved in water. The salt, little amount we will take, and it will be dissolved in water. In this water, you have cations and anions also. Our anion is NO3 minus. Suppose our anion, we are getting doubt that NO3 minus. Is it correct? It is present in our solution, salt solution. Okay. To this salt solution, we will add ferrous sulfate solution first. Freshly prepared ferrous sulfate solution. So that freshly prepared ferrous sulfate solution is added to this NO3 minus solution. To up to some extent, here it is increased. So this is containing Fe plus 2 ions and NO3 minus ions. Is it okay, man? These two are combined to form NO. Fe plus 2 ions and NO3 minus ions are combined to form NO. That is only first reaction. Here we have shown NO. Okay. And then carefully adding concentrated sulfuric acid along the sides of the test tube. This test tube containing NO, Fe plus 2 and NO3 minus, slightly we will tilt. Like this we will get solution. This is this one only, containing NO. To this solution, drop wise we are adding H2SO4. Drop wise we are adding H2SO4 because to provide this H plus ion medium. Okay, now second one, complete reaction will be taken place, and here at the junction you will get brown ring. Clearly you will see brown ring. This is one layer and this is one layer. Between them brown ring is formed. So if you see straightly, this is brown ring here, it is formed. Okay ma, this brown ring is by seeing that brown ring we can understand that our salt should contain NO3 minus ions and it is confirmed. This is the confirmatory test for NO3 minus ions, which is very important for you. Even for MCQs also it is very important. And these are the reactions are going to be taken place while you are performing the experiment. Brown ring formula is very important. The brown ring contains brown colored solution complex. That complex only giving brown color to the layer. That's why this is very important. FeH2O 5NO plus 2. Okay ma? These are the properties of nitric acid. I hope you are clear, everyone. How to do the experiment also I have shown for you. Okay. Next, what are the uses of nitric acid? The major use of nitric acid is in the manufacture of ammonium nitrate for fertilizers. Ammonium nitrate is one of the important fertilizers and other nitrates for use in explosives and pyrotechnics. It is also used for the preparation of nitroglycerin. Nitric acid is also used in the preparation of nitroglycerin, trinitrotoluene. This is explosive, TNT. You are very familiar with Angry Birds game. In that Angry Birds game, that explosive is given with the name TNT. If you have observed correctly, you can see that TNT is written on explosive. If that bird is going to touch the TNT, it will be exploded. That is this one only. Trinitrotoluene. Okay, and other organic nitro compounds. Other major uses are in the pickling of stainless steel, etching of metals, and as an oxidizer in rocket fuels. These are industrial uses of nitric acid. Okay, and this is about uses of nitric acid. So by now we have completed preparation, properties and uses of nitric acid. Actually preparations we have completed in previous class. Properties today we have started. Okay, these are the reactions with metals. These are the reactions with non-metals. And what about brown ring test and uses? By this we completed compounds of nitrogen. What are the compounds of nitrogen we have seen? First one dinitrogen, second one ammonia, and third one nitric acid. These are the compounds of nitrogen. Is it okay, ma? And from this phosphorus onwards, the topic was deleted. 7.6, 7.7, these are all not there. So by this class, by this nitric acid completion, we have completed group 15 elements. By this nitric acid completion, we have completed group 15 elements. Is it okay, ma? Phosphorus compounds are given actually. Those phosphorus compounds are reduced for you. Everything was reduced for you, and we are going directly into group 16 elements. Is it clear, ma? So now we will start with group 16. And what are the concepts present in group 15 for you? Only present topics. Yesterday I have shown you with one paper slip. Okay, on that 7.1, 7.2 like that, everything neatly I wrote. Once again I will show that one. After that we will start group 16 ma. The topics present in group 15 are 7.1.1, 7.1.2, 1.6, 1.7, 7.2 completed, 7.3 completed, 7.5 was completed. 7.5 only, it is nitric acid ma. Sorry, 1 minute. 7.5 only nitric acid. 7.4 was not there. Observe this number clearly, and everything I have gone through and I wrote like this numbers. Okay, as it is displayed now, you can note down and you have to store that one, because unnecessarily extra you know no need to prepare. See 7.5, after 7.5 everything is removed. 7.6, 7.7 everything was removed. Next our group 16 elements only. In that group 16, these are the topics present: 7.10, 7.10.1, 7.10.2, 7.10.7, like that they gave the numbers. Okay, first coming to this 7.10 group 16 elements, occurrence is there. 7.10.1, 7.10.2 electronic configuration, 7.10.7 physical properties, 7.10.8 chemical properties. After that 7.11 dioxin. Observe 7.10.8 up to that common is there, so 7.10.8. Let us start with our group 16 elements. After that once again I will show this one. According to that we are only completing these topics which are present to you. Those are enough. Is it okay ma? Now let us see what about this group 16. What are the group 16 elements? Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium and livermorium. This element was not completely discovered. We don't know the properties of this element ma. We will say only oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, but they gave some information about livermorium also. Constitute group 16 of the periodic table. This is sometimes known as group of chalcogens. The name is derived from the Greek word for brass and points to the association of sulfur and its congeners with copper. Most copper minerals contain either oxygen or sulfur, and frequently the other members of the group. Maximum these are all ore forming elements ma. That's why these are called chalcogens. Okay, now what are the elements present in this group? Oxygen, group 16. Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium and livermorium. But maximum that livermorium we won't discuss because we don't know the complete properties of livermorium. Okay ma? Next 7.10.1 occurrence. Same for group 15, how did we study? Like that also here we are going to study occurrence, where these elements are present majorly. Okay, little bit fastly we will go through ma, because like the concepts are only getting repeated. In P block elements how did we study? Like that only here also. Okay, see, oxygen is the most abundant of all the elements on earth. Oxygen is the most abundant of all the elements on earth. Oxygen forms about 46.6% by mass of Earth's crust. Dry air contains 20.946% of oxygen by volume. However, the abundance of sulfur in the Earth's crust is only 0.03 to 0.1%. Only sulfur abundance is 0.03 to 0.1%. Majorly, the sulfur is present near to volcanic regions. Combined sulfur exists primarily as sulfates such as gypsum, CaSO4.2H2O, Epsom salt, MgSO4.7H2O, barite, BaSO4, and sulfates such as galena, PbS, zinc blende, ZnS, copper pyrites, CuFeS2. Pyrites means immediately S only, sulfides. Traces of sulfur occur as hydrogen sulfide in volcanoes. Traces of sulfur occur as hydrogen sulfide in volcanoes. Organic materials such as eggs, proteins, garlic, onion, mustard, hair, and wool contain sulfur. Okay, ma? Next. Selenium and tellurium are also found as metal selenides and tellurides in sulfide ores. Polonium occurs in nature as a decay product of thorium and uranium minerals. Polonium is radioactive in nature. It is obtained from the decay product of thorium and uranium minerals. Livermorium is a synthetic radioactive element. It is a synthetic radioactive element. Its symbol is Lv. Atomic number is 116. Atomic mass 292 and electronic configuration is Rn5f14 6d10 7s to 7p4. This is the outermost electronic configuration. It has been produced only in a very small amount and has very short half-life, only a small fraction of 1 second. This limits the study of properties of Lv. That only I told. These properties are not completely known, livermorium. That's why these properties we are not going to study. Here, except for livermorium, important atomic and physical properties of other elements of group 16 along with their electronic configurations are given in table 7.6. Some of the atomic, physical and chemical properties and their trends are discussed below. Okay, ma? This is about occurrence. In what way those elements are present in Earth's crust or in the atmosphere, we have discussed in this chapter, in this topic, occurrence. Oxygen is most abundant of all the elements on Earth. Oxygen forms about 46.6% by mass of Earth's crust. Dry air contains 20.946% of oxygen by volume. Sulfur is only 0.03 to 0.01 abundant, 0.1% abundant. Okay, and sulfur compounds, everything we have seen in this occurrence. Okay, by this, in today's class, we can stop up to this occurrence of group 16 elements. In next class, we will continue what about the physical properties of group 16 and continuation of this chapter, of this topic we will see. In this today's class, what are the concepts we have studied? I hope you are clear, everyone. Okay, in next class, we are going to see continuation of this chapter, of this topic. Okay, ma? Thank you all. Have a nice day.